So the last time we spoke, it was Game 5, Stanley Cup. We thought the Montreal Canadiens were about to maybe do a miracle comeback. The mayor of Tampa Bay spoke shit, and we thought that was enough fuel. It didn't end up being the case. The Montreal Canadiens lose, and we have quite the offseason with a grocery list that I'm going to mention here of departures and arrivals. So quite a few here. So starting with Danault, Perry, Kotkaniemi, my baby boy with the jersey, Tatar, Gustafsson, Merrill, and Stahl. All of the departures. And then after that, we had the acquisitions of Hoffman, Dvorak, Savard, Paquette, Perrault, Wideman, Niku, and Mutombo. And all of this, I'm not mentioning the fact that we just spoke about it in the intro, but Weber and Price obviously out. Weber LTIR, maybe not even coming back for the rest of his career. And Price voluntarily going into the player assistance program for the issues that he's dealing with. And we're not going to speculate on those, but all this to say, changes the roster quite a bit. And my question to you, Alex and Justin, is which key departure hurts the most? And we'll start there, and then we can get into what signing helps the most. So Alex, start with you. What's hurting you the most here?
Yeah, just to start, it's crazy when you list them out like that, how many name changes we actually have on the team. But for departures, I'll pick the obvious one, Phil Danault. We saw the impact he had in the playoffs, just shutting down the first line on every team, basically. I know he didn't have the offense we wanted, but we got everything we needed out of him. And it's a shame to see a local guy walk, especially in free agency, not even a trade. So kind of disappointing end to his career here, I guess, not to get that cup as a local guy. But yeah, all the best to Phil Danault. Glad to see him get paid. And that's my biggest loss to this team this summer.
Justin.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I disagree. I think Danault is a huge piece and a huge kind of loss because he just ate up so much minutes. He was a first-line center, maybe didn't have the offense, but still played that all-around role and could put up around 50 points every season. I mean, a different guy is... I know he didn't really show up in the playoffs, but Tatar is pretty much a 25 to 30 goal scorer for us for the last... 3-4 years. He was super consistent with Danault and Gallagher on that line. Like, he's just been one of the best offensive players that we've had in the past few years. So he's a big loss. Obviously, we saw that like he kind of didn't show up in the playoffs, so we kind of thought, okay, we can deal without him. But I think if we didn't get the kind of additions on forward like Hoffman, Dvorak, we have Caulfield coming up. If we didn't have that, then we'd see a big fall off in scoring from Tatar leaving. But since we have those guys, then it's I guess it's kind of like an easier pill to swallow. But yeah, that's it for me. I guess Danault and Tatar are the big ones.
Yeah, I guess my only point here that I'd add, I think that the low key one that kind of hurt everybody from an emotional standpoint, especially with his comments at the end of the season, him tearing up, was also Corey Perry. He loved it in Montreal. He signed a 2-year deal with the Tampa Bay Lightning, obviously joining forces with the dark side and the Tampa Bay Mayor. But at that, I completely agree. I think that the two players that you guys named from a more significant portion of their performance to this team to date, those were the guys, Tatar and Danault. But that leads me into the second question, which is you have those departures and we have a list of names that I just went through for arrivals. And some would say that the Montreal Canadiens are now very deep on the wing. And Hoffman, by the way, Alex's favorite player ever, and he's now a Habs. So, let me know which one you're going to choose, Alex, to start it off. How about that?
Man, how many years have I been calling this for, waiting for this for? Man, it's got to be at least Mike Hoffman. What is there to say? Just a pure sniper, no defense, no back check, just top corner. And I spent a couple months in Ottawa, got to see a Senators game. He had a hat trick there. This is just the type of guy you want to see on the team, pure offense. like you said, deep at the wings now. We needed some scoring help, and he's going to bring that. Doesn't matter all the negativity about him. That's all we need is goals, and he's going to win us games.
I like it. I wasn't expecting any different answer from you. And to be honest, when it comes to a winger, like we have enough players to play defense, and I completely agree that it's been a while that we don't get like an offensive player, and it's one of those luxuries that I feel like the Montreal Canadiens just haven't had, and having just a pure goal scorer that's like offensive, like we've had Alexander Semin for a couple of weeks. Those types of guys, those types of low key signings, and yeah. So for you, Justin, is it Hoffman as well? Is it Christian Dvorak, Savard? Who is it?
I mean, I like Hoffman, but as Alex said, he's kind of a one-dimensional player. As much as he is like a pure goal scorer, and he's gonna probably score around 25 to 30 goals, I think Dvorak is just like a key signing in what happened in this offseason, and us losing Kotkaniemi to an offer sheet. We had to sign a player like Dvorak to on one hand replace Kotkaniemi, but also replace the huge hole that Danault leaving left in the team. So I think Dvorak is that kind of player. He's like a 200-foot player. He's good defensively. He's pretty decent offensively as well. And he has room to grow as well. Like I think he's only 25 years old, and we saw some flashes of great stuff with Drouin and Anderson in the preseason. They had some chem, so hoping to see for a lot from him. I think he's going to be a good second line center for us, and I think he's like the premium the premium signing for me for the Habs this offseason.
Yeah, I completely agree in terms of like replacing that key defensive. I won't say that he matches Danault in terms of the defense that he's going to provide, but I think he's going to fill enough of a hole that the rest of the team by committee.
Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I don't really like it, but anyway. No, but my point is that Dvorak, one low key thing about him is his power play and that bumper position. He is absolutely nasty. Based off of the research that I did quickly on YouTube and looking at his highlights on Arizona. But as we saw in the preseason, they've had some chemistry between him, Drouin, and as well as Anderson. And I mean, on that power play, he seems to have that knack, and that's going to help the team. And the loss of Phil Danault, we're going to get into what we think about the team right after this. But I just think that it's going to be important to have a second line center like him, following Nick Suzuki in a year that he progresses as well, to have some offense. Because as much as I love Philly cheesesteak, he went to, LA. He's going to play, that defensive role. I don't know how much more offense he's going to provide. He had how many goals last year? I can't even remember. So 2 goals. So it's a little bit different compared to Dvorak, who might not have the same defensive skills as Philip Danault, who is probably the best in the league, honestly. Like shutdown center, probably one of the best up there with like, the Patrice Bergerons of this world and Anse Kopitars and stuff like that. But, we need some offense. And sorry, go ahead, Justin, please.
I didn't want to cut you off. I just want to kind of ask you guys a cut and dry question, yes or no. Do you think we're better or worse than we were after last season right now?
Honestly, it's difficult to say, and I think removing the additions and subtractions from like the offseason in terms of signings, if I had to answer based off of the fact that there's no Carey Price right now and no Shea Weber, I would say that we maybe took a little bit of a step back, just like a little bit. I at least in terms of solid and like proven NHL talent, yes. In terms of the potential, I would say no, because you got Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, all of these guys that are coming in and they have another year of development where they're going to come in. So it's more of a question mark as to if that answer is yes for me. But to be safe, I'd say no, we're not better, but by a smidge.
That was like a 400-word answer for like a yes or no question, but
yes, I know.
Good answer. Good job.
I might surprise you with this, but I'm going to say we are a better team. But that's the only part that's going to surprise you. For the rest, I'm going to say we're going to have less success than last year. And I think we might actually miss the playoffs just due to the strength of the division and the teams around us. But I think we're a better team on paper.
Just the Hoffman factor, right?
The Hoffman
exactly.
factor is massive. Yeah, well, let's get into it. We're going to do some team predictions right after this. Here we go.